Thanks for joining me on episode 474 of the Inspired Stewardship Podcast.
I'm Wade Galt. I challenge you to invest in yourself, invest in others, develop your influence, and impact the world by using your time, your talent, and your treasures to live out your calling. Having the ability to live to work instead of working to live is key, and one way to be inspired. To do that, listen to this. The Inspired Stewardship Podcast with my friend Scott Mader.
To do a big review over what have I done this year, what have I not done this year, what do I want to keep doing into the new year, and what do I want to let aside. And the key is to do that kind of review process. That's how you begin to bring your talents into alignment. Welcome and thank you for joining us on the Inspired Stewardship Podcast. If you truly desire to become the person who God wants you to be, then you must learn to use your time, your talent, and your treasures for your true calling. In the Inspired Stewardship Podcast, you will learn to invest in yourself, invest in others, and develop your influence so that you can impact the world. In today's episode about impacting the world through stewarding your talent, I talk with you about how you can recognize when your talents are out of alignment, why it's not just about what you do that matters, and how to bring your talents into alignment with whatever you're choosing to do. You've heard me talk about developing your talent, and one of the best ways to do that is through books. But if you're like most people today, it's hard to find the time to read. And that's why today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Go to inspiredstewardship.com/audible to sign up, and you can get a 30-day free trial. There's over 180,000 titles to choose from, and you can pick one and listen your way to developing your talents via Audible. That's inspiredstewardship.com/audible to get your free trial and listen to great books the same way you're listening to this podcast. It's interesting as a coach working with folks, how you find that many people come to you for help in one area. And one of the things that ends up being uncovered is how there's this sense of inauthenticity. There's this sense of being an imposter. We often all suffer from some level of what is called imposter syndrome. This feeling that maybe we're just not really doing what we're supposed to be doing. Maybe we're not really as good as we think we are. And sooner or later, someone's going to uncover that. And when they do, and they find us out, we're going to be taken down. We're going to fail. We're going to suffer in some way. And the funny thing is that this is a common feeling. This is something that we all struggle with. And yet, I also talk about how you can get out of alignment with your talents. And the interesting thing is, it's not the same as this feeling of imposter syndrome. Oftentimes what happens is people mistake imposter syndrome for being out of alignment. So they make a change in their life. They change careers. They go through a midlife crisis. They get a divorce, whatever. They do something to dramatically change their life and the structure of their life, because they feel this imposter syndrome makes them itch for something different. And that's not the same as being out of alignment with your talents. You know, the truth is, embracing who you are and discovering who you are at your core is a powerful, powerful thing. And the truth is, we can't do everything. We never can do everything. No one is good at everything. No one's able to have the time to do everything, the money to do everything. And so the truth is, you have to focus on certain areas of your life. You have to have a deliberate plan. You have to actually adjust your behavior and your habits and your mindset to get yourself into alignment. So how do you know if you really are out of alignment or if you're just suffering imposter syndrome? oftentimes it's not about what you feel. It's about what others see and say. And others here aren't just total strangers that barely know you. I'm talking about people that really are in your life deeply and can really talk to you and understand with you what it is you want to do. This is why working with a coach is often a good way to discover this, is because it can pull things out, because the coach is an independent observer who's not emotionally connected to the answers. They can help ask you questions and pull things out. But what happens a lot of times is you'll begin to realize that what you want to do deep down in your core, you are being kept from doing. You're not putting energy and attention on the things that are truly most important to you, the things that make your soul sing. Oftentimes you discover there were things that you used to do. There were dreams that you had growing up and you've just drifted away from them. The idea of money, the idea of success, the idea of what other people would think, all of these things have caused you to move yourself into a direction that's never been the direction that you were really called to do. And as you begin to get that feeling, as you begin to get that emotion, as you begin to get that itch and that discomfort, that's the sign that maybe your talent, your calling, is out of alignment with what you're doing. And don't just think about your career either. Don't just think about the things that you do. Don't think about it in terms of the strengths that you bring to bear. Think it also about things about how your strengths are played out. Think about how your intelligences, and yes, that was plural. Usually we think of intelligence as sort of this logical mathematical thing, and that is a form of intelligence, but there's intelligences around language. There's intelligence around interpersonal skills and emotional things. There's body intelligence. You look at professional athletes, musical gifts, all of these different kinds of things that you can bring to bear. Think about yourself holistically. What are the strengths that you have, and how are those being played out in your life? What are the things that you're able to do around your lifestyle? How is the balance in the different cores of your life? How is the balance in your quote unquote work-life balance? How are you living out your life? What about your behaviors? Are there things that you do? Are there things about your personality? Begin to identify the things that both are authentic to who you are and the things where you've drifted away from what truly is the who you want to be and you feel called to be. It's not just things you do. It's not just your career. It's deeper than that. It's about how you feel. It's about how you actually act into the world. It's about your gifts. It's about your strengths. It's about your skills. It's about your mindset, your behavior, your personality, your intelligences. All of these different areas of your life have to be looked at. This is one reason that I take a full day each year towards the end of the year to do a big review over what have I done this year? What have I not done this year? What do I want to keep doing into the new year? And what do I want to let aside? And the key is to do that kind of review process. That's how you begin to bring your talents into alignment. See, the mistake a lot of people make is they jump off the bridge without a plan. They think about it as just, I'll just uproot everything and make a dramatic change and fix everything. And that seldom works. Instead, what you can do is develop a personal development plan. Develop a plan of attack that you can do over time. Focus on just one or two or at most 3 areas that you want to work on changing. Develop those across a quarter or a year or several months. We don't change as quickly as people sometimes think that they want to or that they should. It's not a sudden thing. It's about making sustainable change over time. This is what you're after. If you need some help or if you just want a free tool that you can use to kind of conduct such a review, reach out to me at scott@inspiredstewardship.com. I'll be happy to share with you kind of what I use. I may actually post that as a link in the show notes as well. But please reach out to me, and I'd love to review with you how your talents currently aren't in alignment and what you can do to bring them into alignment using a personal development plan for 2020. Thanks for listening. Thanks so much for listening to the Inspired Stewardship Podcast. As a subscriber and listener, we challenge you to not just sit back and passively listen, but act on what you've heard and find a way to live your calling. If you like this episode on the stewardship of talent, you can go over to inspiredstewardship.com/talent and sign up for our 5-week series on the stewardship of talent. Or if you're in the U.S., you can text 44222 talent tips. That's talent tips to 44222 and get those tips. Until next time, invest your time, your talent, and your treasures. Develop your influence and impact the world.